There are hundreds of woodworking channels on YouTube, with more popping up each week, and that's amazing. But what if you end up scrolling endlessly, never getting offered the ones that may suit you the best? And that's why I'm making this video, to tell you about 7 channels that I think are worth watching and supporting. Not to mention, at the end I'll tell you about some changes that are happening on this channel too. But these types of videos aren't really a new thing, because Lee over at Busted Knuckle Woodworks and Jared, who you'll know from Inland Wood and Resin, now Vulgar Woodworks, they did this about 2 years ago. And I want to keep the concept going, especially after the hugely positive response you guys gave me from the last one. And so we go again with more channel recommendations. And I'm going to put links to all of these channels and all of the channels from the first video down in the description. It's just underneath the subscribe button. So let's get started. 4 channels that you may not already be watching, and you should be. Up first, we've got Lion and Bear Woodworking. Ben has a UK-based YouTube channel, and I think it's just brilliant. Like me, Ben doesn't have a huge amount of space for his workshop, but he makes it work. You lot on the other side of the pond will probably call what he has and what I have a small workshop. We just call it a workshop. But here's what keeps Ben at the top of my homepage. Watch any one of his videos and you'll get it too. It's basically like listening to and chatting to a mate. Down to earth, funny, relatable, and well paced. The projects he does are attainable, and the guides are informative and not condescending. He's done a whole host of different videos, but his reviews are genuine, and my favourite, his Pocket Hole Basics video, did really well with views, and deservedly so. If you like John over at Lincoln Street Woodworks or Alex at Grey Otter Studios, you're going to really love what Ben does at Lion and Bear Woodworks. It's well worth adding it to your subscriptions. And now, number 2, we've got Weekend Shedhead. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Rob and spending the day with him at Maker Central this year, and then having a chat on his Shedhead podcast a couple of months after. He does everything with enthusiasm and high energy, and it's contagious, in a good way. It's another UK-based channel, and Rob films it in his man cave workshop. And while he's talked a fair bit about his workshop and how he's got it into the state that it is right now, his recent popularity has actually been largely driven by good, honest tool reviews for DIY makers. His love of the middle aisle of supermarkets is fairly obvious. What I love about the channel is he genuinely makes it feel like you're actually stood in his workshop with him comparing tools. That came out wrong, but you know what I mean. Basically, click for the reviews, stay for the fun. If you like 731 Woodworks or Flint Dog Woodworking, you're definitely going to like Weekend Shedhead. Number 3, 5 Ducks Studios. I've never asked where the name actually came from, but I love it. And I have to confess at this stage that I have written this section at least twice. And the reason for that is that I'm pretty late to the recommend party on this one. But the growth that the channel has goes to show that this was and is a really good recommendation. 5 Duck Studio is a US-based channel and offers a huge range of beginner and intermediate woodworking advice, builds and tips. The content feels really down to earth and attainable, but with a really professional feel. You'll find brilliant editing, with really funny scripting, but nothing too over the top. And while you're watching, you can actually tell the sheer amount of work that has gone in behind the camera. But it doesn't feel self-indulgent like some channels can. Now, the reason for the rewrite is because the most recent video on the channel has gone to 1.4 million views. And honestly, it has deserved every single one of them. This is a channel that is on the move, and if you haven't checked it out already, it is well worth a click. If you love Whitworks and Busted Knuckle Woodworking, you're gonna love 5 Duck Studios.
I'm Joseph with 5 Duck Studio. I hope to see you next time. Wouldn't be the same without you.
And last but not least, we've got Koolibar Woodworking. And I've left this one to last for a pretty good reason. I consider myself to be in the upper range of woodworking content consumers. I watch endless woodworking videos from all around the world. And every time I do, I tend to take a look in the comments section while I'm watching. What I notice is that there are certain names that come up time and time again. Not just from viewers, but also from makers supporting fellow makers. Kind of like what I'm trying to do here. Thomas, who runs Koolibar Woodworking, actually started popping up in my comments section a little while ago. And it was then that I noticed that he was commenting in all of the videos that I was consuming. Always positive and always supportive. So naturally I started watching his stuff. And I realised very quickly that he had a really great channel. And you can tell straight away that so much work has been put into his videos both behind the camera and in front of it. And I knew straight away that this is a channel deserving of growth. He isn't afraid to try huge projects and even show his mistakes along the way. One that caught my eye was a really cool project where he made a sliding side to his table saw. It's kind of like one of the things that I'd like to take on. He's genuine, interesting and inspirational. So if you like my channel, which I hope you do, you will love what Thomas is doing over at Koolibar Woodworking. And as a quick interjection, if you happen to click and subscribe to any of these recommended channels, pop in the comments of whatever video it is, Mark sent you. Just because I might need a favour some stage down the line from them, and that might help. So that's my 4 channels to watch. But there's more. I've been doing this now for 3 years, and I've come to a bit of a realisation. No matter what people on Reddit will tell you, you cannot survive as a channel on YouTube on view money alone. Sponsors, ad reads, selling plans, it's all part of surviving as a YouTube channel in the woodworking niche, like it or not. And I didn't do this at the very start of the video because cynical people will always start shouting in the comment section that I only did this video to announce my Patreon and membership. And I don't want that. And to prove that, I'm not even going to tell you about it here. Instead, I'm going to leave it right to the end of the video where probably only 10% of you are still watching, just so I don't get the nasty comments. Before we get to that, I'm going to do something that I have not seen anywhere on YouTube. I'm going to recommend 4 channels whose Patreon or YouTube membership program offers the best value for money. 4 channels that I have a Patreon or membership with, and for those of you who don't know, here's a very quick explanation of what that means. Patreon and memberships are basically set up as ways you can support your favourite makers. For a small monthly payment, you can provide some extra financial stability to that favourite maker. And there are 2 big reasons that I've chosen the channels that I'm putting in the next section. Firstly, these channels have actually supported my journey on YouTube through advice and general guidance, whether I've reached out to them or just watched their videos. And secondly, they aren't just asking for money for nothing, and that's important to me. And so here are the channels and the reasons to join. And note, some of them actually have a free tier as well. First up, we've got Busted Knuckle Woodworks. Lee runs Busted Knuckle Woodworking channel over in Austin, Texas, and this choice for me was an absolute no-brainer. There is very little chance you don't know this channel if you've watched mine. As I said before, he featured me on his recommendations video, and genuinely that was before we had ever even met. But more than that, recently he actually travelled all the way to the UK just to film a 3-minute slot in his latest video in my workshop and around my local village, which I think you'll agree is above and beyond just for a video. But it opened my eyes to the sheer amount of effort you need to put in to make videos to stay relevant on YouTube. But the reason I recommend supporting his Patreon is because he brings together the live community. He collaborates with other channels to bring together a big live chat, and he offers his own member hangouts. Basically, by doing that, he welcomes members into his inner circle. So, whether you go for the banter or to learn something or meet other people, it's really worth it. And now channel number 2, Rag and Bone Brown. Whether he knows it or not, there is no YouTuber that has had a larger impact on this channel than Keith from Rag and Bone Brown. 2 years into my journey on YouTube, I was really floundering. I desperately needed some answers, some guidance, some support. And I had been a long-term fan of Keith's well before I started doing YouTube. So when he released his YouTuber beginner course, I jumped on it. And I'll say this, if you're starting out as a YouTuber, especially in the woodworking niche, the course is a really good stepping off point. And so I jumped at it, paid my money, and I have to say the time and the support that Keith offered was game-changing. You watch this channel, you know my weaknesses, I can't hide them. Camera work, editing, tech stuff in general, all of them. Having answers in that area has genuinely kept this channel going. But why am I recommending his Patreon and membership program? Well, to me it's a no-brainer, it's value. Because not only are you supporting his channel, but you're actually getting access to a huge library of members-only videos. Things like behind the scenes and day in the life of a woodworking YouTuber. You can find out why choices that Keith's made were made, and see jobs that were filmed but would never work with the YouTube algorithm. He's got 2 tiers, one for support and one for access to the member videos. Either one is well worth it. And finally, 10-minute workshop. Honestly, Peter is in this list for the same reason as Keith. I met him for the first time in person at Maker Central and we've chatted since. He's answered so many of my questions. But what you may not know is that Peter offers a 10-minute plus membership through his website. And with up to 2 extra videos each week, all based around behind the scenes or what he's working on at that time, some costings, some choices he's made, I think Peter's actually offering the most out of anybody within the woodworking space through his membership platform. But that's not all. There's forums where you can discuss things with other members, you get free plans, discount to the shop, live chats, and more. These are 2 UK creators that are offering way more value than the cost of their memberships, in my opinion. And I know there are plenty of other channels that offer memberships and do very good value with them, but I'd be here all day if I tried to do them all. So I'm just going to leave it at my favourite 3. The 3 that have influenced me the most and what you see me doing on YouTube at the moment. Take a look and see what you think. The links are down below. And now to the self-promotion at the least marketable part of this video. Just know, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to announce, and I'm going to do it in the most British way possible. Firstly, if you've been around this channel for any amount of time, I am definitely not saying you have not supported me enough. You give me more than I expected already. And if you can't afford or justify to spend anything to support this channel further, please, please don't. Please don't feel that you have to comment and explain why you can't, because honestly, I know that some of you will want to, especially those closest to the channel. You're all so kind to me already, there really is no need. I will never put YouTube content behind a paywall. I will not be uploading any less frequently on YouTube. This new offering is not instead of that. Here are the reasons that I'm starting the membership and what I'm offering. And just know, for the same price, whether you sign up through Patreon or YouTube, you get exactly the same offering. First of all, one of the simplest reasons to do this, I need a way to express myself and connect with an audience outside of the YouTube algorithm. I need a place where I can put videos that just wouldn't get clicked or even recommended through the algorithm itself on YouTube. So what I want to do is I want to upload weekly videos onto the Patreon platform or on the membership platform. And those videos are going to be in the following styles. Firstly, behind the scenes. Me, sat here chatting to you about what's going on in the workshop, why I'm making choices and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to discuss future ideas for builds, videos. I want to get your feedback on what you want to see and some workshop improvements. But to put it in perspective for you, behind the scenes around the workshop will stay on Patreon or memberships, but an actual workshop tour, curated and put into a nicely edited video, that will go up on YouTube for everybody. After shows, the worst named videos ever. Basically, I just want to keep the camera rolling. So after I've just closed a video, I can put the camera back on and go into more depth about the things that I couldn't put into the video, the things that would have made it way too long for YouTube. So for every video release, there'll be an after show. And very quickly, there's already an after show video of this video posted onto the memberships and Patreon. I want to do day in the life videos so you can see what it is I do every day to make this channel tick. Some tool refurbishments, some around the house projects, just things that won't work on YouTube. And then I want to do some chatty videos based around subjects that you want to hear about. I want anybody within the membership area to be able to say to me, I would like to know about this topic or another. How do you make your videos? What equipment do you use? How do you get around this and that on YouTube? You'll notice that as you move up the tiers for the membership, then you get more access to myself through live chats and monthly get-togethers, etc. And I know I've banged on about this, but if you can't, you don't need to explain it to me. You are still a cherished member of this channel's community. This is just an additional area that I want to explore. I genuinely hope that nobody feels like this channel is moving away from them, because honestly, it isn't. Thank you so much for hearing me out, and thank you for letting me self-promote. It's not something that comes to me easily, and, well, you've probably seen that from the last 3 minutes of me talking. As I said, there's links all down below for every channel we've talked about today, and as well as that, you'll see the links to what we're offering through the membership programs. And once again, thank you so much for your time. I'll see you soon.